Hi, I'm Mr. Miyagi, and this is Mr. Miyagi's Workshop. Well, I've had requests on the type of mounts that I use for mounting my engines on the bench when I'm working on them. Now, there are an assortment of different styles that you can buy, like this one here. This is a rotator. That you can attach your motor. This attaches to the back and the underneath side. And then we have the ones I made. So here's another one that mounts on top. One of the other things I did on this top mount one that sits on the upper part of the case, I did set it up so that you could pick it up and put the mounting on here. One thing you also it's a good idea to do, keep these things stabilized, is when you put this on, is if you weld in a nut or a threaded area so that you could screw in a bolt, then you can tighten this down and lock it in pretty much any position that you need it to be locked in. But this little unit here is really a lifesaver, especially with the cylinders and everything off, because like I said, you can now split the bottom part of the case and flip this engine upside down, which is a really nice way of working on these motors. Now also, you've seen in my other videos where I've removed these rods to make everything a little easier and to get in to clean these surfaces a little better. But I just kind of wanted to point that out. This one is mounted on the engine when your cylinder and everything is in place and you just want to rotate. And this one mounts underneath. So what I have is an exception plate, the plate that'll accept it, any of these units. Now this is fairly simple to make. You got a welder, piece of pipe, and another piece of pipe that'll fit inside, and some flat bar. You can make all these pieces and everything up. One other attachment we have is the top mount. You can see that this mounts onto on the top part of where the heads are bolted onto. And what I usually use this for is lifting it out of the frame or moving it and putting it on the table. Now what I've used overhead on my bench is a rail system, and it's just a barn door rail system that I've used, and attached a little lifting block system so you can pick this sucker up, move it wherever you want. But it's a great little unit for pulling these motors out of the frame, especially if you got some overhead railing system that you can hook to. And it really makes a big difference. Okay, let's say you don't really want to go to the extent of building one of these units here. You still can do it on the bench, a lot of the work. Setting the crank, I like to set the crank in with the case upside down. It fits in and doing the transmission works much easier. But let's say you're doing simple stuff on the bench. You can always make yourself a little stand. This is just one I whipped out, made up. I've got another one over here I made out of angle iron and put together. This is just flat bar and square stock. And basically all it does, it attaches to the lower mount and the mid mount on the underneath side. So fits right in there. And then you have a mount. So you can do whatever you want to do, head work, pull your cylinders off, pull the side cases off, adjust up a few little items. You can do it right here on the bench, which is kind of nice. All in all, I think the two most useful units that I've built is especially this overhead pick that attaches to the upper part of the engine. Now I usually mount this so that I can set the engine in. So I would put this on basically what they consider the right side of the engine. That way you're pulling it out, because when you have this cover on, which mounts right in here, it won't allow you to go through the frame. So you must remove this anyway. So having this on here, you can pull this engine out from the right side. Like I said, I think this is one of the more useful ones. The other more useful is the bench stand. Now you can actually bolt to the engine. Like I said, they make some out there. The swivel one is kind of cool because you can mount it and turn that engine however you want. Or you can make this thing. It's basically, here again, it's just two pieces of pipe on a flat plate with a catch for the base and the tailstock. A very simple unit. This would work if your bench was a lot lower. You were working on a wood bench or something like that where you didn't want to drag around. This moves fairly easily on the bench. I just flip it away however I want. But this is a good unit. I don't know what the price is. I don't know where it came from. You'll just have to look on the internet for mounts like that. But like I said, simple mounts can make your life so much easier while working on these motors. Some of the other tools, people have asked me what I use. Now what I've done, simple one. This is a very simple tool. This is made for adjusting the clutch. Loosening these off, you can get in here and adjust these screws out and adjust everything out and then lock it back down again. I just took a socket that fits my unit and welded a little handle on it, and it's good to go. One thing I wanted to mention on this clutch adjustment tool is make sure that you have plenty of room to run your screwdriver in, whether it's straight or a Phillips. They have both on those adjustments, so make a big enough hole there. Another one is for torquing or removing some of these bolts that are located in precarious places, like right in this area where you can't get to it as easy as you want. At least you can get on it with one of these. For removing these or giving them torque. Now one thing when you're torquing, you're going to torque something down and you're going to use one of these little extenders. One thing you got to remember, when you do this, you want that torque to be at 90 degrees of the shaft. That way it doesn't change the torque factor on it. If you have it straight out on, if you have it straight out, you change the torque factor on it. So this puts it back to standard for what you would just really be torquing. So remember that when you make these up. I try to make them up fairly short and such. Another little item that people have asked me about is the valve adjustment tools. Now on the top of the valves, on the valve adjustment up here, this one here has Allen head style because it's been a hot rod. But normally when you get it, you'll have a little square tooth adjustment for the rocker arm up here. So basically all that is just a piece of flat metal that I've notched and filed to make it fit. Here I made a fancy one here with the little handle and everything on it. So when I'm in here adjusting, I can torque and set everything up. I was asked about this. Where do you get the long rods? Well, I have been buying them from Mike's XS. Now, you suppose you can get them somewhere else out there, but Mike had them in stock, so that's where I've been buying mine. Well, I hope this video has helped you in trying to figure out what kind of a mount you might want to make to mount your engine to the table so you can work on them, either the store-bought ones or manufacturing your own style of bases and little units to help you out. Plus on the tools, you don't have to make these, but they sometimes make your life a little bit easier when you're working on these, you know, especially for adjusting valves. I really like these little units. I'm supposed somebody sells one of these, but it was just scrap metal that I made them out of. So anyway, so if there's any comments or questions, please put them in the comment section below, and I'll do my best to answer them for you. I do want to send a big thanks out to the Yamaha XS50 Club of Australia. The guys down there sent me some swag. My patch, I got to find a spot on my jacket to put this. I've already put one of these on my XS. I'll give you a shot here in a little bit. But that's really great. It made me feel really good that, you know, that you guys enjoy me. I got to find a special spot for this one. But thanks again for you guys down there in Australia. Way to go, mate. If you like the last video I did of traveling by motorbike, the saga of the XS650, I'm going to be doing another one coming up here. I've got another Gambler 500 in Idaho to go do. And of course, I'll be riding the XS650 through that. I'll be filming it. So hopefully it'll be a little bit more exciting. I don't know. Last one was, I guess, okay. A lot of goofing around. But anyway, that'll be coming out after this video, hopefully. But as I've always said in the past, if you like my videos, please like, share, and subscribe. And don't forget to hit that ringy-dingy button. And remember, you be safe out there, and I'll see you on the road. So this is Mr. Miyagi signing off, and see you next time.